we're back. Yeah, we kind of missed last week. My voice was dead. I think I got sick or something. I'm still dealing with some of that, but we're here. We're here today. I've rewatched the Broncos I've kicked my table. I've rewatched the Broncos win over the Chargers that clinched them the 1 seed, and honestly, I don't have a lot to take away, and there's a couple of reasons, consider this a takeaway, but I think Sean Payton is saving a lot of stuff for the playoffs, play-wise, because it feels like the last 2 games, the play calling has been just really, really vanilla, and like I was joking about this in the post-game show, like, I think the play calling is more vanilla than my damn skin color. The lighting, I'm sure, helps, but you get the idea here. I feel like there's a lot being saved, but I feel like there are a couple of fundamental issues that I saw in the Chargers game that I kind of wanted to dig into a little bit, because again, I had some notes. But I do want to start positively first, and we are going to lead with how good the defense has looked the last 2 weeks. It feels like we're starting to see some of the issues that we've had get fixed. The tackling by the defense looked much better than it has for basically all of December. It looked improved in the Kansas City game. I think that was a point of emphasis for the defense, but it felt like they doubled down on it a little bit against the Chargers here, or there was at least a little more care put into it, if that makes sense. Just there weren't a lot of missed tackles that I could really point to you and say, hey, that's just a straight on miss. I think Jaleel Barron had one. It was a coverage snap, more or less, and by technicality, I think it's a missed tackle, but he was in coverage. It was the play that Oronde Gadsden beat him inside there. Kind of the one time I feel like we said Jaleel Barron's name all game. Good or bad, I'm not sure. I'd have to go look at the snap shares. Another thing, too, that I think was really encouraging to see, I mean, firstly, the takeaways. And I mean, Sean Payton was beating the drum that we needed more takeaways in every press conference that led up to this game. It really felt like that emphasis really it made itself known, and the Broncos realistically should have had 4 takeaways in this game. 3 of them should have been picks. I know Singleton missed one. He also missed a tackle, but at this point, I think we expect Singleton to miss at least 1 tackle per game. And Riley Moss should have had a house call. The Broncos should have had 2 pick sixes in this game. Maybe the boxing gloves are starting to show the drawback of practicing with them. You can't grab the receiver, but you also can't grab the damn ball. But overall, from a defensive perspective, it also felt like Joseph was kind of getting back in his bag. It felt like the Broncos were in a lot more man-to-man coverage, which has been their strength this season. They were sending more pressure looks as well, which was really encouraging to see. I mean, don't get too hyped, because again, we've played Chris Oladokun and Trey Lance in the past 2 weeks, but we've also seen the Broncos defense make Marcus Mariota look like, I don't fucking know, Randall Cunningham or something. So it really feels like that there's been an emphasis on figuring out things at a fundamental level for this Broncos defense. And again, it is really shown here in these past couple of weeks. The coverage has looked crisper. It's just looked better overall. The pass rush, especially this week, was getting home. Guys were rallying to the ball, and the tackles were there. So were the turnovers. It was really good to see Benito finally get a peanut punch. And it's plays like that that helped this defense lead the Broncos to their first #1 seed in a goddamn decade. I know we're taking a more casual approach to kind of the format of this show, but like I've gone in depth. Like I've looked through this shit. I may be presenting it, unscripted, a little more casual than I think a lot more of my content usually is. But the fun thing about this is, like we're just bros. We're just talking. We're just chilling. I like shit like this. But just from my perspective here, I'll stop rambling at this point. I think the Broncos defense is fixed, and I think a lot of that too is going to be confidence, because going into the playoffs, you want to feel confident. And who was it at many different points during that big 11-game win streak that won the Broncos games? It was the defense. You need the defense to be tip-top when you could end up in defensive struggles against teams like Houston, a team you've already beaten. You beat them on the road. Other teams too, and the cage rush, oh my God, the cage rush that the Broncos put on. It still wasn't perfect. I still think there were some moments of over pursuit that let Trey Lance escape. But if you can limit the explosive plays from mobile quarterbacks, or just that, out of the pocket play creation that a lot of these mobile guys have, someone like a Josh Allen, for example, I definitely think it gives you more to work with in the playoffs. If there's one guy that really stood out on tape, okay, we're going to keep going on the defense for a minute. If there's one guy that really stood out on tape to me, like as I watched this dude, Justin Strnad, okay, this was actually one of my bigger takeaways. Justin Strnad might be the Broncos' #1 inside linebacker. I know Greenlaw is supposed to be, a huge impact guy, but he hasn't been that this year. The guy that we have been calling on for reliable inside linebacker play this season has been Justin Strnad. And probably another guy that, only us Broncos fans are really going to know. But he went out there and put on a show. I mean, he had the sack. He had a really nice play breakup on Will Dissly, one-on-one in coverage. That was a really nice play to see. Whether or not he got there early, now that's a little subjective. But either way, he's in good position, and he's where he needs to be to make that play. And again, like it just feels like he's tackling well. He is doing all the things that you want your inside linebacker to do. I think if you get him a proper partner somewhere in the offseason, whether it be the draft or whether it be Drew Saunders is suddenly good and not hurt anymore or what have you, I think Strnad's got to be part of the equation very much going forward. I definitely think Strnad needs to be here more long-term than I think he is. What is he on, like a 2-year deal right now? Something like that, something short to, yeah, I mean, Strnad is basic. He has to be the #1 linebacker going forward. That's just where I'm going to leave that. But overall, defensively, the tackling was better. I actually was, God damn it, I was pleasantly surprised actually by the safety play because again, you're playing a lot of backup receivers, but you're seeing these things that you want to see. Devon Key didn't look bad, so that was nice. A little bit of PTSD from the Baltimore game last year as well. PJ Locke didn't look bad, although he did go down, hence why, you had Key in there on JL Skinner at one point, I think was getting snaps. I think they pulled Hufanga near the end of the game. It's things you like to see. You like to see these things. You want to be able to call on these guys when you need them. And again, don't look now, but my God, we might have fixed the defense, guys. All right, let's move on to my other takeaway here, because this was supposed to be the Jaleel McLaughlin episode, and I've spent, as of now, 7 minutes and 48 seconds rambling about the defense. So let's just move on and get into the offense. Not a whole lot of good there, and that's why we're kind of focusing on really maybe 2 things that I'm not telling you. I like keeping secrets. I'm a shitty person. Okay, let's... All right, a couple of things that I want to point out as well on the offense. First off, what the fuck was the O-line doing? That was rough. I think one of my, I guess if I had a takeaway from the position group itself, I think you really need to re-examine your backup tackles this year. Frank Crum did not look great in basic, and to be fair, he's coming cold off of the bench. He hasn't really played tackle all season long. I think he, I want to say he started in place of McGlinchey for a game, or maybe that was Palczewski. You really need to examine, at the very least, backup left tackle, because if Bulls goes down, it might be over. But on top of that as well, there were a couple of plays where the Broncos O-line just got completely fooled. And credit to Jesse Minter and the Chargers defense, obviously, but just a couple of pass rush snaps. You get a free guy through, and it's 5 guys on a blitz. You're supposed to be one-on-one hypothetically, and either just something didn't get identified or pointed out at the line, nothing got shifted, and multiple times, specifically on the left side, and this was before Frank Crum came in the game, by the way, just both guys got beat. There was no communication, and somebody got through one way or the other. Bo Nix got put under pressure, and Bo was under pressure a lot. I think that's something that the coaches are really going to have to examine with the offensive line, because if Bo is under pressure that much in a playoff game, it's over. It's one and done. It's one and donezo city for the Broncos, and you're taking your divisional round exit, and technically it's a victory because you got the 1 seed and you did all that fun shit. But the goal's got to be the Super Bowl this year, and the O-line has got to play better than that. Now, they have throughout the year, and I have faith that this was just kind of a one-off fluky thing that the offensive line should be able to fix with the bye, because again, they're going to get in the film room. They're going to have a good chunk of the week off, but over the weekend, they're going to get back in the film room, weight room, all that good jazz. Monday, they'll know who they're playing, so they'll be able to game plan better. And something too, and again, maybe I'm coping. I said this during the stream, but I think there's a factor too of like Sean Payton. Just might be holding back right now, just might be holding back his best stuff for the playoffs. And if that's the case and it works, okay, cool. But man, dude, and I was saying this during the stream too and the post-game show, but it really feels like the play calling has just been super vanilla lately. Just trying not to unveil anything in this last little bit as you're creeping closer to the playoffs. And you know what, again, even if we're not playing at our best, even if we're not calling our best games, we're still clinching 1 seeds, which is cool. But that's going to lead me into my next point. From here on out, this is the Jaleel Mclaughlin video. I just threw my pen. Nobody saw it. Let me make this a little more cinematic. All right, there we go. This is the Jaleel Mclaughlin video from this point forward, because at this point, I think it's safe to say that Jaleel Mclaughlin might be the hottest hand in the backfield. And if you remember the past couple of years, that was kind of the Broncos, or really Sean Payton's, what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't want to say ideology because that doesn't feel like the right word. But that was the strategy, was hottest hand is getting the most touches. And these past couple of weeks, it feels like that has been Jaleel Mclaughlin. Now, granted, too, RJ was getting hot at the end of the Jaguars game, but something is just so irritating. RJ Harvey right now is just so damn inconsistent. And it feels like in a lot of these games where he's gotten more than maybe 10 touches, I mean, he's just kind of getting destroyed here. Like, he goes 7 carries, 50 yards against the Jags, 7.1 a carry. Cool. 14 carries, 43 yards against Kansas City, and then, just the whopper here in what I called like a damning game. 15 for 28 against the Chargers behind what is supposedly the #1 ranked offensive line. And again, RJ isn't fully getting the brunt of the blame, because I think the O-line played not their best game as well. I mean, Knicks got sacked 4 times. Like, we've already beat the drum on them. But RJ Harvey has just been so inconsistent okay, so let's go from where he really became the starter here. I want to say sometime around November 16th. 2.7 a carry, 2.7. 4.4 against the Raiders, cool. 3.4 against the Packers, 7, 3, 1.9. He's just been so inconsistent, and even as of late, too, he hasn't really been that guy out of the backfield. Well, there's been bursts, obviously. There have been bursts. The Kansas City game, he had 5 catches. He did some good things through the air. Chargers game, he had a couple of drops, and even in the Chiefs game, he had a big drop that killed an early drive. He has just been so inconsistent, and maybe it's the rookie growing pain here that's really starting to drive me up a wall. But I think down to down on a consistent down to down basis, I think Jaleel Mclaughlin is going to be your best guy for rushing snaps right now. I don't know why Jaleel's not getting red zone snaps as well, because again, I think these past couple of weeks, he has been the best Broncos running back this year, just in these past couple of weeks. And with him getting hot as well, especially with, I think he knows Sean Payton's system better, because again, you got to think, RJ Harvey's a rookie. He didn't get the full offseason. He didn't get everything. He's kind of catching up, yada, yada, yada. Same place Bo Nix was in last year. You get the idea. With that being the case, though, you need more consistent production out of the running back position. And I think right now, Jaleel is giving that to you. I mean, the guy's averaging almost 6 yards a pop on the season right now. 5.1. Okay, maybe it's a little higher than I was thinking a little higher, but he's still averaging pretty decent production here. And again, he is getting more touches these last few games. Didn't have any more than 6, and he didn't get any more than 2 or 4 after the Washington game. But then you see it, because again, you got to think he's only been on the roster since the London game against the Jets. That was early or kind of mid-October. And then from, these last 3 weeks, 5 for 37, 7 for 40, 6 for 41. He's just doing good shit, is Jaleel Mclaughlin. So I think there's an argument to be made that Jaleel needs to be RB1, at least in the divisional round. And of course, we can throw around, maybe you get J.K. Dobbins back for the AFC title game if you make it there, but you got to focus on making it there. And right now, from a down-to-down production standpoint, just specifically in the running game, I think Jaleel gives you the best chance. A couple other tidbits on the offense as well. Knicks looked a little off, but again, Knicks was under pressure all damn day. I think you just kind of burn a lot of the offensive film from that Chargers game and move forward, because we've seen this offense do some good stuff. And again, you know, maybe Peyton was holding back a little bit, but if there is one more point that I want to hammer home, oh my God, the Broncos offense needs to be better in the red zone. We've been harping on that for a couple of weeks. It's kind of what got him screwed against the Jags. It feels like didn't do great against Kansas City either, and went 0 for against the Chargers. This Broncos offense needs to figure itself out in the red zone, man. They do. And I think part of that, too, comes down to I think they need to run the ball more. I think I said this in the day after show after the Jacksonville game, is that they need to run the ball more because it started working. Like, you can run the ball. Like, the Broncos have proved that they can run the ball. I think they need to do it more. And whatever's going on, I think they need to run the ball more in the red zone. But they've got to figure something out in the red zone, man. They need to. And maybe I need to go back and like look at like all of their red zone possessions and see what has worked in the red zone, and then maybe kind of say like, hey, play into that. But as it stands right now, I mean, those are my biggest takeaways from the Broncos. #1 seed clinching win over the Los Angeles Chargers. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We are trying to hit 500 probably by the Super Bowl would be cool, or by the end of the Super Bowl. I don't know. And I think we're gonna do some cool things in the offseason as well, whether or not the offseason starts after the divisional round or after a goddamn Super Bowl win. We're gonna do some cool shit. I want to do like a big Broncos retrospective on the season as well. Obviously, you know, all the free agent stuff, but I think we're also going to start doing some gaming stuff as well. I love video games, and I want to share that love with you guys. So again, don't forget to like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And this has been Miles Smith on the Day After Show, and I will see you in the next one. Also, if you've watched to this point, there is a poll on the channel. Let me know what wild card game you want me to call. Since the Broncos aren't playing on Wild Card Weekend. All right, I'll stop yapping. I will see you all later. Goodbye.